Good afternoon. I'm MJ from Lioness Publications, and we are going to do Trump's Daily for October 5th. Yes, the 5th, which is Sunday. We have two of the light planets to cover. We've got a movement of moon into another house, and we have 8 moon angles. So it is going to take a little bit longer than typical. I will try to keep it as short as I can and maybe even talk a little bit faster. Okay, so let's get started. The first one we have is Mars trine Mercury. And since this is a light planet in effect, it's going to be in effect for more than just the one day. It could be up to maybe a day and a half in each direction. So this might have actually started a little bit into yesterday and going into probably maybe up until Tuesday sometime. This is a positive angle. Mars is action. And what is it action on? It's trine, which is nice and easy. Mercury is talking communication. So this is actually a really good angle to maybe think about, oh, maybe they're making some progress on the shutdown talks. But we have to remember some of the angles we had yesterday were not positive. Okay, so we have to sort of take this as not so much day by day, but sort of look at it over the next few days. So in this case, with Mars trine Mercury, he's going to have some clarity. He may actually say, adjust what he wants from this. He's going to be able to negotiate. He's going to be able to be decisive. And he can actually have some follow through. So all of these point to maybe that he's going to start formulating a different way of broaching this. Next one we have is Mercury trine the pot of fortune. This is another good one. Mercury thoughts into what? A risk-reward type of situation. Since it's a trine, we're looking at a reward. In this case, he can articulate ideas that could resonate with someone else and could have a greater purpose, which is really what you want to get to. He might be able to say exactly what someone wants to hear. Now, I do want to bring up one thing here, and that is Trump will probably need some type of out to be able to move forward on this. And one of the things that Schumer has been bringing up consistently is that when he talked in the office with Trump at the White House, is that Trump didn't seem to know what this actually would do if they didn't do this. So this may be an effort on Schumer's part to actually let Trump have this out that maybe some advisors didn't tell Trump exactly what this would cause for the American people. So maybe that's something that might be showing up in the next few days. The next one we have, and let's go into the moon, we have moon in conjunct Jupiter. Now, this is happening at approximately 4 o'clock in the morning. So again, plus or minus 2 plus hours. So you're looking here that he's not ready for any type of aspirational sort of giveaway. So this is, since it's an in conjunct, you can't get there from here. Moon is what? Emotional. And the Jupiter would be sort of, opportunities. So he's not ready to sort of go there to create opportunities yet. So what he might be trying to do is create a good person narrative, meaning that he's a good person and everyone else is a bad person. And that's what you're sort of seeing with all his tweets. And the things he's making these agency heads do. They're trying to create an impression that the Dems are the bad people. Now, as a note, this also indicates that some opportunities he may have personally may be going away. So that could be an issue. Now, at around the same time, around 4 a.m., plus or minus a few hours, we've got Moon squaring Uranus. Unexpected. Now, a square doesn't say you can't get it done. It just means you have to be really persistent. You have to just keep plowing through this. So it's difficult, but you can eventually get something done here. In this case, it's going to be disrupted routines, restless. In effect, think of it as being a calm lake, and then you have a lightning strike into the lake. What happens to the lake? No longer calm. That's what he's going to be sort of probably getting up to be like in the morning. That with the moon in Jupiter is sort of saying that, oh, well, none of my things are working to make me look like a good guy. The polls are still going down. He's going to be angry about that. Now, as we move up to about 10 o'clock, we have moon squaring the north node and the south node. This is sort of comic in that there's a path he's going down, and the path is sort of like where sort of the future is, where his purpose is. But the moon here sort of doesn't want to go there. It wants to go someplace familiar. So this is sort of a comic lesson that sometimes we have to move in a different direction where we don't know what the results are, rather than sort of going back and recreating what we think is safe and secure. So this is not a good signal. So he's waking up sort of, disgruntled, and that seems like it's going to be continuing. Now, as we move forward, we've got moon squaring moon. This is around noontime. This is, his emotional past. His emotional hurts just will bubble up. So a lot of tension. His emotional patterns are going to start repeating. What are the emotional patterns? Attacking other people, projection, calling people nasty. So you're going to see that. You're going to see that show up. Now we've got Moon actually moving into the 8th house tomorrow. And that's going to be approximately 2 p.m. or so. Now, in this case, when your moon goes through the 8th house, you can start experiencing, thoughts about resources you have from other people. And it could be like the resources of the government. But it also brings up thoughts of death, of sickness, sort of sometimes letting go of things that you don't need anymore, of purging. So that's, it sort of could be a little melancholy feeling at this point. Now, the next one he has is the moon square sun. And that's at approximately the same time, the 2 p.m. time. This is also mood swings because emotionally, he's just not sort of projecting his identity. So his emotions are pulling him one way versus his identity is pulling him another way. Now, another thing here is that, unfortunately, moon squaring the sun, and since the moon is in the 8th house, could also indicate if it's sickness, the sun is an indicator of the heart. So it could be that maybe he's not feeling great. So that could be something that's happening here. Next thing we have is Moon trying Saturn. That's around 4 p.m. And that's actually a great angle. What happens here is he's going to be pragmatic. He's going to be realistic. He's going to feel like his instincts are reliable on what he can do. And he wants to look at things with a long-term viewpoint. Doesn't necessarily mean the negotiations, but he is trying to have a long-term view. We've got Moon trying Venus. Another great one. And this is at 8 p.m. So in this case, he feels more emotionally at ease. He feels pretty decent. And the thing is, he feel like maybe his community is providing some support. So maybe MAGA is starting to rise up and they're sort of laughing at his little posts and stuff like that. Maybe somehow people are sort of saying, they're supporting him somehow. Now, he's also doing some self-love here, and he's taking in the adoration from his crowds. So this is going to be a big thing in helping him feel good in a late afternoon tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, that might have been a good time for, maybe negotiations to start sort of proceeding. But around 10 o'clock at night, you've got Moon in conjunct Mars. What's Mars? Action. Moon in conjunct, can't get there from here. So in this case, this is pretty destabilizing. He feels like he's going to be emotionally provoked. He's unable to act decisively. So acting at all is just tough. He's going to have really conflicting type of symbolic gestures that he does. They're just not going to work. He's going to be clumsy. He's going to have some missteps. And this sort of brings up the fact that maybe he might have more than just missteps in communication stuff. He may actually be not walking well tomorrow. So this could be an issue, and it sort of goes along with the moon in the eighth house. So something to be aware of. Now, last time this happened, I used the analogy of him trying to take up this big sword and sort of like, swinging it over his head. But in this case, what happens is he's trying to do that and the sword just slips right out of his hand. And that's what I mean about a symbolic gesture that doesn't work. So this could be, especially as it gets into later in the day and the evening, him doing things that just don't work. Him possibly taking a fall or something like that. Could also have some, if you've got a Mars angle like this, could also have some indication with some blood flow. Right? So this is his angles for tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. And as a wrap up, from tomorrow's angles, I'm seeing some more likelihood of trying to resolve this. I'm not seeing anything that's saying, yes, we're going to go and resolve it. Tomorrow morning looked great, but that as we get into the afternoon, there may be other things that take up his attention. Late afternoon looks like it's a great time, but the Mars angle late in the day, in the evening is just not great. So I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day. Bye now.